Well, hello everyone. Pastor Ben here. It's Friday, and it has been a while since I've done one of these, but thought I'd take a few minutes here on this kind of cold, little snowy Friday evening and let you know a few things going on as we get ready for this Sunday and kind of give you an idea of where we'll be studying over the next few weeks. And so, yeah, let's just get right into it. A couple of announcements I want to make you aware of. So, this Saturday morning, 10 a.m., we are going to undecorate the sanctuary for Christmas. So, everything that we've put up, all the decorations, things like that, we need to take those back down, get those put away. So, really need your help. If you are available Saturday morning at 10 a.m., we would sure love to have you come help us. So, I'll even bring some donuts. And so, if you can make it, shouldn't take us very long just to get things taken down, put away, and then do some quick cleanup. That would be super helpful. So, that's Saturday morning, 10 a.m. And then this Sunday is the first Sunday of January. So, what that means is for us, we do communion the first Sunday of the month. So, want you to be prepared for that. There will not be nursery per se. We won't have anybody back there in the nursery staffing that, but it is there and open if you need it. And that allows all of our families to be together to participate in the first Sunday of the month. And then following our Sunday service, we also have a potluck following. So just want to make you aware of those things, give you an opportunity to make plans to attend. And it's going to be a great time together. First Sunday of the new year together. And I'm looking forward to that. As we are kind of finishing up from Christmas season and going into this new year, just wanted to really kind of have a good idea of where the Lord was leading us going into this new year, and the the message that I shared going into Christmas, our Christmas Eve service, I talked about Immanuel, God with us. And that's still been really resonating really deep in my heart. And so was trying to figure out where we would go and what we would do and what the Lord would have us go over. And so just kind of in that theme, in that same kind of idea, um, the Lord has, I guess, kind of drawn me to some different ideas and some different passages of Scripture. I was drawn once again back to First Samuel chapter 30. Actually, 20. No, it's 30. Uh, 1 Samuel chapter 30, the latter part of verse 6, and it's a verse that I've shared before, and then another passage that I'll share here in a minute. But this follows uh, David and his men returning um, from kind of this trip that they've been on, and they're actually working with the Philistine army, and David's not trusted by them. They send him off. They return and they find that where they had been staying, where their families were, and all of this had been destroyed and burned and captured, and just kind of a lot of pretty horrible things had taken place. And so David is there, and his men are kind of taking issue with him. They're talking of stoning him. Each one of them was, it says, bitter in spirit because of his sons and daughters had been taken, been captured. And then the last part of verse 6, it says, but David found strength in the Lord his God. In other translations, it says David encouraged himself in the Lord. And so, as I've shared before, I love this imagery of David in those moments, not going anywhere else, not seeking help from anyone else, but seeking the Lord himself and encouraging himself in the Lord. And so I'm not entirely sure why God has brought me to this other than just some things kind of in my own life, um, and was just kind of thinking about that, and again kind of taken off from where we were at during Christmas, remembering um, Jesus, Immanuel, God with us. Um, and I just the importance of knowing that. Um, a lot of us have probably been through or understand a wilderness experience, and we talk about that in the Christian faith, where we go through a season of time where we go through things that are hard or difficult, or it seems like the Lord is distant, or things along those lines. And I'm not in a place in my life where I feel like I'm in the desert or wilderness experience. But sometimes I think it's important for us to maybe preemptively um, know what to do when those seasons of life come, and just this idea of God with us, I think is important for us to hold on to. Um, and so this thinking about that, and thinking about desert experiences, and thinking about times when God seemed distant or far off, or facing situations where it seemed like people were wondering where the Lord was. um, and so several stories kind of come to mind, and one of those is kind of an intriguing one to me. um, this is a passage where Hagar has been sent off by Sarah, and in this story, in this part of the story, um, Sarah, Abram's wife, had not born him any children, and so she knows this promise that God has made to Abraham, and ultimately to her, that the Lord was going to bless them and make their numbers great, and she's kind of wrestling with this kind of station in life where she knows she's barren and she hasn't produced any children, and yet God has made this promise, and so he sends Hagar to Abram to kind of fulfill this promise, like it was up to her. um, and so this happens. She becomes pregnant. uh, Sarah becomes kind of bitter and sends her off, and as she is sent off, and as she is pregnant, and she's in this wilderness, she's in the desert, um, an angel of the Lord appears to her. And so this angel says some pretty amazing things to her, gives her some promises, and towards the end of this, and this is where I kind of remembered this interesting thing that she says to the angel, ultimately to the Lord, in chapter 16, verse 13. It says, "She gave this name to the Lord who spoke to her." And well, I'll continue the verse, and it says, "You are the God who sees me." I just thought that was just incredibly interesting. You are the God who sees me. And she gives this name to God. And so, man, just a whole lot in this passage, in these few verses. But ultimately, it comes down to Hagar understanding and seeing that God is aware, that God knows what's going on. And he meets her in this place where she is at, in this desert, and all of this imagery that we can attribute to a desert, right? It's dry, it's desolate, it's lonely, it is maybe scary, it is um, isolating, and just kind of wondering uh, which way to go, and how to get out, and that's ultimately our desire when we're in a desert or when we're in the wilderness, is finding a way out. And yet God meets her in this place and gives her this promise, and her response to that is, "You are the God who sees me." And I love that, and I think that is probably one of the more important truths that we can hold on to as we begin to navigate different parts of our lives, whether they're good, whether they're bad, whether it's a desert or wilderness, or whether it's a mountaintop experience where God is just doing amazing things in our life. And not that he's not in those dry desert wilderness places, but it's important to remember this truth, that this is the God who sees us. And so we're going to talk more about that, and more about some of these other people throughout Scripture uh, that have a wilderness experience, and God meets them where they are. He sees them, and 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 so I think that this is just a great way for us to be reminded that there is a God who sees us, and that's His name, the God who sees us, the God who's with us. As we celebrated at Christmas time, Immanuel, God with us. So this is kind of where my heart has been and where I anticipate us spending some time here in these next few weeks. And just pray that you would make time and plans to join us this Sunday. Again, Family Sunday, normal service times. English service starts at 10:45. We have Sunday school that starts at 9:45, and a Spanish service that's at 9 a.m. We're going to have a great time in potluck this Sunday as well. So anyway, make plans to attend. I'm looking forward to being with you, and I pray that you are looking forward to our time together as well. God bless you. Happy Friday. We'll see you on Sunday.